I started playing basketball really because of my dad. He played collegiately and professionally, and growing up he was still playing. I didn't really spend a lot of time with him, but it was such a huge part of his life that it kind of became a huge part of my life, and it was something that my mom had always loved. She didn't play in college, but she played in high school and she just loved the sport, so it was kind of something that I was always around.
I've watched Taya, since she's been an 8th, 9th grader. We offered her a scholarship when she was in 9th grade, and she's just a talented kid that's very versatile, can pass the ball, shoots it, can drive it, scores on the block. She's just a tough matchup.
My senior year was really great. It was probably my best season, and I was lucky enough to make McDonald's All-American, which was a great experience and really cool for me, and just being there around so many female basketball players, and I knew basically all of the girls that were on the McDonald's team from the women's side, and even being around the men's players too, just because a lot of them are in the NBA right now, so it was just kind of cool to be around so many great players.
She was McDonald's All-American coming out, number two in the class, I believe it was, and she, it was a phenomenal player. Went to one of the best schools in the country, Notre Dame, and things didn't work out for her. So when we heard that she was getting her release, we were like, what? And we already kind of had a relationship with her, so we just got the release and reached out to her.
When I knew I was going to transfer, I sat down with my mom and we made a list of some schools that I knew I had a previous relationship with the coach, and MSU was like the first school on that list, just because I had so much respect for Coach Merchant and for the staff, and I had already known Tori from USA Trials the previous summer, and I knew Jenna Allen and Coco Gaines just because they were Indiana kids, so I felt like there was somewhat of a comfort level there. I love the girls, I love the coaches. I thought that the environment was, it was really family oriented, and that was something that I was looking for, and I canceled all my other officials after that, and I committed before I even left. I just knew this is where I wanted to be. Now being at MSU, I'm in the journalism school, and I think that it's so much different because there's a concentration in actually journalism, and especially even being in the grad program, everything is even more dialed into that.
We created this newsroom. We had the idea a couple of years ago. We pitched it, and people thought it was a great idea. And this room is kind of to actively learn journalism. And instead of kind of sitting in a classroom at a desk, this kind of gives you that real world experience. And it's been open for, 2 weeks now. And students seem to really be enjoying it, which is great for us, because this is kind of what we designed it to be, and it's working the way we want it to.
You've had to do this for sports already? Yeah. Big Ten?
I know it's great.
I know as an athlete, she has to do press conferences and sit out. She's in front of cameras a lot, so she's used to it. So when she came in, we put the teleprompter up, and her first run through, she was pretty smooth. I gave her a couple little tips here and there about how to do stuff, but she was smooth off the get-go, and she even said she was nervous. So, but I think that's part of sports. You get out there and you've got those nerves, but you have to perform, and it's the same thing with TV. She has to go out and shoot a layup or whatever at that moment, and when we're doing television news, we have to read at that moment, or there's no do-over. So I think she already has that kind of attitude set that she has to do it that way. So when that teleprompter started rolling, she was on it.
When you're reading, you could probably slow down.
Yeah.
You ever give a speech in class and you feel like you just have to get through it? If you stop for a second and then start again, just to grab your thought, nobody notices. That's the great thing about this program and MSU in general. People still have that great feeling about MSU, even after they leave. So those students, when they get a new job, they call me and they go, "Hey Troy, I got a new job in Indianapolis." And I go, "Great. What do you need anything?" And they go, "You know what? I haven't moved to a new city, and this is a bigger market. What do I ask for? And how do I negotiate my contract?" And I sit there on the phone and talk to them about that. So I love the fact that when students actually leave, they're still a part of our program, and it's great to see what they do after they leave.
The three people that I look up to the most in sports broadcasting are Doris Burke, Rebecca Lobo, and Kara Lawson. And Kara Lawson, when I was growing up, she was like my favorite college player. So it's really cool just because I was such a fan of her when I was a little kid. And you know, now she's done a lot of games, and I've gotten to kind of build a little bit of a relationship with her and kind of get some advice from her on the sports broadcasting piece.
I love that the females are really stepping up in this industry. I think that it empowers younger kids that want to get into it when they see people that look just like them that are behind the camera and sitting up there with the guys and on Sports Center and, you know, calling NBA games and things like that. So I think it's great for our profession. I think that, you know, I just love when females are empowering other females, and I think that it's more prevalent now. You see more females calling games from the sidelines, calling games from, you know, the studio, and I think that it just gives people like Taya opportunities.
A lot of the professors have told me you just kind of have to, you know, study a lot of other people, but find your own style and find what works for you, and don't try to copy other people.
She wants to get some internships with the Big Ten and really, you know, go after that goal. That's something that she's always wanted to do, and we can tell that she's going to be great at it. I mean, she's got the look, she's got the voice, she can articulate, you know, she can carry herself in a professional manner, and I just think that once she gets behind the camera, she's going to do well.
My comfort level just keeps growing every game. I think the biggest thing has just been learning everybody's style of play, and I think at this point I'm really comfortable with that. You know, it's hard to go from playing with one team for so long and getting so used to a certain style and you know, offense is just the way that they play, and then coming into a new team, and especially with players who are so established, like, you know, Tori and Brandy, them being seniors, it's really their team, and they've, you know, really just kind of established the identity. So kind of trying to fit in there as a new player, but also kind of being a vet. It's been tough, but I think that every game I get a little bit better with it.
She's gotten more and more comfortable as the season has progressed, but you know, she has a lot more in her tank, I think, and it's just a learning process when you come to a new school. But she's starting to speak up more and demand more from her teammates and the post players, and just kind of lead from, you know, example as well. So I'm happy with her progress, and I think that, you know, really the sky's the limit for that kid. You guys as well, and just welcome you guys back. How do you guys like the new digs? Nice. Yeah, so I know most of you guys probably haven't seen these renovations.
I can remember when we were waiting after a game against Illinois on the plane, on the tarmac, waiting to see what had happened with some of the other teams to see if we had won the Big Ten championship or not. So, because it all was about rankings and who was where and who was playing, and if all the cards were right, we would win it, and we did.
They'd pack us in a van or 2 station wagons, and we'd drive everywhere. And the only time we'd ever took a bus, I think, was when we played in Upper Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, and we picked up Central Michigan girls on the way. So we had 2 teams on the bus to go. But otherwise, we drove everywhere.
When we played Illinois my senior year, and they had beat us by a couple of points in Illinois, and we knew we should have lost. But when we played them in the senior year and we won on our home floor, that was one of the best games ever.
My best moment, I would say, is against Minnesota. That was the most points I scored that game, and it just felt effortless. It was one of the last games of my senior year here at MSU. So that, I guess, would be one of my best moments I had here.
That was really amazing, because for me it was like something that no one could surpass, could nobody, you know, beat me in that. You know how we have stats and somebody can play better and do better, but Hall of Fame, it is what it is, and that's where I'll always be. So
And my experience as a student athlete here was just, I love it. I mean, it was something that I would definitely say to any other athlete that's coming in, that this is the experience with it's a family. You become a family at Michigan State, and you're one of the people. So that's what I remember, and I carry with me to this day.
You share so much of your life with your teammates, and on and off the court, and then coming back and seeing them and seeing the great women that they have just turned into, and it all started here at Michigan State, and we all have that connection and that bond that really nobody can take away from us.